Flatzoid, to answer your question, to be serious, please tell me how God created the sun on the fourth day if it is a globe. It's got nothing to God can create a globe, by the way, okay? In days, as it seems like you think that days are some maybe 24-hour period. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. But yeah, hey, I mean, it says God created the sun on the fourth day. Right, okay? So I don't understand what your point is.
Christopher, it's simple. What came first? According to the heliocentric model, religion. Yes, it's a religion. The sun came first, not the earth. Which formed first, the sun or the earth? The sun formed first from the vast materials with the planets close behind. How did a sea of swirling particles become the brightest star in our sky? Space.com. So in other words, the sun came before the earth, totally contradicting the Bible.
We got Flatzoid says to be serious, please tell me how God created the sun on the fourth day if it's a globe. Well, I am wondering if you saw any of the videos that we've done on Genesis chapter 1. We've done several, and I've actually spoken about it quite frequently. So it seems like you have not heard any of this stuff. I'm not going to go into a very in-depth study about that, but just to answer your question, let's just take a quick peek over here. Okay, Genesis chapter 1, we have, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Not God created the sun and then heaven and earth.
And the earth was without form, void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. We'll first do this one, and then we'll move on to the next, okay? So, earth, obviously, is dirt, it's ground. Without form, that means it didn't really have a form yet. Your sphere has to have a form to be able to exist. And void. What does void mean? So the void is bohu, to be void. What does that mean? Just emptiness. So that means there was nothing. It was without void. It was just simply water. The earth was without anything. It was just simply water. Then we move on to darkness. That means, remember, there was only darkness upon the face. So what is darkness? It's just the absence of light. Upon the face, by the way, the face, meaning it's flat, because a sphere does not have a face, and it's on the face of the deep, which would mean waters, flat face. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face. So that means the Spirit of God is moving over the face of the deep, over the waters, the flat waters. Now we move on to Genesis 1:3. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. What does light mean in the Strongs? Okay, what does or mean? Or. It means light, day, bright, clear, flood, herbs, lightning, morning, sun. So it means day. Lights usually mean day. Okay. So, light. Light of day. Light of heavenly luminaries like the moon, sun, and stars. Obviously, the sun and stars and the moon wasn't created yet. That only comes on the fourth day. But there's light. God created light. He spoke light. Daybreak, dawn, morning light. Daylight, lightning, and it's just all the difference. Or, from illumination. So, it's to illuminate. Luminary in every sense, including lightning, happiness, bright, clear. I mean, it all got to actually do with the context of how the word is being used. But in this case, it is simply the light God gave or over the earth, because there was darkness. Remember the previous verse, it said there was only darkness upon the face of the waters. So God created light. And God saw the light, it was good. So that means it was good. God was happy. He saw that there was light, so the darkness would not be there. And God divided the light from the darkness. So what does that mean, to divide? It's to separate. So God divided the light and he divided the darkness. So remember, if there's an absence of light, there's darkness, vice versa. So, and God called the light day. So he called the light day. What does that mean, day, in the Strongs? Yom. Yom is day, time, or year. So it's literally giving a time, a day. Okay, Yom. So what does it say? Yom, from an unused root meaning to be hot, a day, as the warm hours. Whether literal, from sunrise to sunset. So a day, it gives a day, a time. One sunset to the next, or figurative, a space of time defined by an unassociated term, often used adverb. Age always chronicles its day. That's why I find it weird that you just decided to leave Yom as a day out. Let's go back to that. It says, so it's light or of Yom. So or Yom. So it's the light of day. And the darkness he called night. So remember, he separated light from dark. So he separated the day from night. It's a separation. It showed the evening and the morning. You see what they're saying? And that was the first day. We just saw what day was. It was Yom. So, the first day, God created the light over the earth with the heaven. That was it.
And God called the light day.
Yeah.
Okay? This is very, very important. You know, whenever you're reading a text, any kind of passage, especially if you really want to get you want to get a lot of meat out of it, you want to digest a lot of things from a passage, you got to first of all draw out some definitions. Okay, and so this is what the author of Genesis is doing here, is drawing out some definitions for us. What does day mean?
Again, the word day is to mean day, time, here. Days, lifetime. Time, period. Today, yesterday, tomorrow. Day, Yom. Day, Yom.
So it's very apparent here. Day means light, or in the Hebrew.
What? Day means Yom, or means light. Two different things. You do get day light, but that does not constitute that the day is light. It's just the light of day, or Yom.
And this or is not an or that we see with our natural carnal human eyes. Why? Because, of course, there's no mention of the sun here at all, okay? Right?
Yep, no mention of the sun, but there's light, or it's light. The difference is you don't understand the difference between daylight and sunlight. Two different things.
So there's no mention of the sun here at all in this passage. This is the or of God. Okay, it is an eternal or. It's an eternal light, which means it's an eternal day. If you look at Genesis chapter 1, verse 5, where it says in the evening and the morning or the first day, this is a very, very good and classic example of how translations and translators, Bible translators, really do not do it justice. Because if you look in the Hebrew, now let me just pull this, see if I can pull this up for you guys. So you look in the Hebrew, and you'll see it says eḥāḍ yom, okay, which means it's talking about one day, but eḥāḍ many times is talking about a unified, like the Lord our God is eḥāḍ, right?
Yes, eḥāḍ yom. Eḥāḍ means one because it's one. Exactly. This is where, remember in the beginning I said you have to take things with context. If it says this was the first day, eḥāḍ yom, it was day number 1. So you're trying to straw man it by saying because God is of one accord doesn't make the context day 1 not day 1.
It's one, okay? So if you have a lot of people together and they're all one, they are eḥāḍ. Okay? So the first day is not Yom Rishon, which means number 1, or the first in succession, but rather Yom eḥāḍ, which signifies that it is unified. It's a unified. It is the day of all days. It encompasses all days. Now, I do not believe in the interpretation of Genesis chapter 1 as per, 4-year-old Sunday school kind of interpretation. I don't believe that it's a 24-hour day.
Yeah, now we get to the brass tacks. Just because you believe it's not a day, you have to make an excuse why it's not a day. Remember, eḥāḍ yom. First day, day 1. It's a period. It's the separation between evening and morning. One day.
I think that's overly simplistic, quite childish, something that you'll find in little children's Bibles or something like that. But when you really look into it, you really study it, you really understand the context and the interpretation of it, it's not talking about 24-hour days.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ. והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו, וחושך על פני תהום. ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים. ויאמר אלוהים, יהי אור, ויהי אור. וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב. ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך. ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום, ולחושך קרא לילה. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר, יום אחד, יום אחד, יום אחד, יום אחד.
So Christopher, I'm not going to go through your whole stream because it's going to take forever. Because mainly what's going on after this is just you trying to create out of context scriptures called cherry picking to try appease why you think it's not literal days, whereas I've literally shown you it means a literal day, a period. I will leave the link to your stream below for everybody to see, and thank you all for coming. If you guys would just let Christopher know I did do a rebuttal video to this, and I would appreciate it if you, Christopher, would do a rebuttal to me, because I think this is actually a very important subject to discuss, as the heliocentric religion does not support God's word. Thank you very much. God bless.